Yeah. Please
Okay.
mention your name.
Yeah, sure.
So we are live. Vishan, can I start this?
Yes. I just check. Wait.
Sorry.
Yeah, go. You can start.
A warm good evening, all. Welcome to the day one of AI and Robotic free certification course. AI and Robotic workshop is specially designed by our experienced team to give a brief idea to students from class 9 to 12 on how to use advanced mathematics, computer science, and engineering to create systems and machine capable of solving problems that normally requires natural intelligence. So today we are having Mr. Nikhil, and who is the academic mentor at Directorate of Admissions and Academic Outreach, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Coimbatore. He'll be briefing you all about the topic relating to AI and robotics. So this is a 5-day workshop. Students, please note that the certificate will be provided for those who have successfully completed the course. Before getting into the session, if you have any queries, you can just type it in our chat box. We will discuss it at the end of the session. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Nikhil N to this session. Over to you, Nikhil.
Yeah, thank you, Parvati. Just a second, I am just opening my PPT.
Is everything fine? Nikhil?
It's fine. Just give me some second. I'm just opening
Yeah,
the
sure.
file. And one more thing, here it's showing attendees are 0. So what should I wait
No. That we can discuss later.
Okay. No. I thought like I have to wait for some more time, or else I can start. So I hope my screen and video, audio, everything is perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Nikhil, please make it as PPT mode.
Yeah, sure.
So the students are from the Ibandos team, Ibandos platform.
Okay. So I couldn't able to see the count also. I mean, like whether
you can like if anything is there, you can see that chat box.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so not like I'm just going to the session. Like I hope you all are here because of this like AI and robotics session, so you know what's going to happen today. And maybe you have already read the syllabus, like what's going to happen today, or maybe like this 5 days course. So it's like I think the day 1, day 2, day 3 schedules have been already given. So since I'm just like rearranging the topics because I just want to make you understand more, so I'm just rearranging the topic into a few difference. Okay, maybe like I will discuss everything, but today like a little bit of robotics I just want to start. Maybe after that I'm going to AI. So in that session you will understand what is the requirement of AI, and maybe after that, like in depth, I will go into this machine learning and deep learning, just an introduction to machine learning and deep learning. And moreover that after that, I'm just going to this big data and data science. And finally on the final day, like we'll be discussing the application of this AI and robotics in general. Okay. So, what is a requirement of this AI and robotics? Because, right, because that's why like you people have registered here. So, basically, if you see this, just first thing it will come to your mind is like the applications or the things like where we are using this AI and robotics, right? So if you see that this AI or this robotics application which we are using in our day-to-day life, maybe if we start our day with this applications. So coming to that points, in general, I just want to ask you a few questions regarding this. Not like AI and robotics, leave everything. So uh, just come down to some levels. Maybe like you can be as a 7th or 8th standard students, or maybe like you can come down and you can just think what are the basic requirements or maybe the major requirements required to meet your day-to-day life activities. Maybe like you can list out, for example, I can give you, it's like transportation. It's a major requirements. Since you are in school, obviously you need to travel to school and maybe you need to travel to some destination, or else after the schooling you will be joining in some college, or maybe after that maybe you will go to some workplace. Likewise, transportation, it's a major requirement which is required to meet your day-to-day life activities. So likewise, can you please list out, or you can put in your you can just add your answers in the chat box. What are the major requirements which is to required to meet our day-to-day life activities, or which is like you are into? Maybe like you can think without that we can't live. Okay, you can just think what are the different sectors, major sectors which is required. So can I have some few from you people? So please add in the chat box so that we can have a discussion regarding this. So I will wait for 2 minutes. So I'm not seeing any answers. So obviously, like maybe if you're confused or I didn't understand what's happening, so can anyone respond? Whether like I just want to know whether you people are here or not. So can you please respond? Yeah. So now I can see the answers like food. So can we categorize the food into agriculture sector? So agriculture sector, it's a major requirement. Without that, we won't get energy, and we won't. And see, we are here and we are doing the activities based on the food or the energy, right? So without that, we can't have. So agriculture, we can categorize into one sector. So, and maybe some of them have told air and water. So air and water, that is the natural things. Maybe like it's obviously it is required, but I'm telling in related to the technology, or else in the I mean like tech world. So if you consider, or maybe few things we also need in the technical side. So agriculture, it's the first thing, which is like technical technology, it's supporting the agriculture. Likewise, transportation again is second major thing, or else you can just start your day from, I mean like morning, after like woke up, like what you will do, you will have some food because you need energy. So agriculture sector we can have. After that, like what? And if you see the next category, the transportation, again an important thing. So transportation is required, and after transportation, what you will do, you need some accessories, right? This products like dress, pen, and maybe bag. And what are the things you carry to your school, or we can categorize it into some manufacturing unit will produce this. So production or manufacturing slash, and we can tell construction, because we need shelter and we need like this construction things, and this home building, school, college, or whatever it may be, we need some construction also to happen. So again, that we can categorize into one sector, this manufacturing or construction. And if you go to the other sector, anybody can suggest any other sector required. As we told, agriculture, transportation, manufacturing and construction, and any other thing. Okay, so I will go with that. So the next thing is like, which is required to do all these activities, we require some, what we need to do, some financial transactions, right? So the finance and banking, it's again a sector which is required, because without that we can't do all these activities. And one major thing we have missed, and even I have missed to tell first, which is like health sector. Again, without health sector, we can't go ahead, because if anything has happened to human, we need to be. And you know what happened after, during this pandemic or this COVID-19 time, what happened, right? So that is why like health sector is very important, and since because of that, we faced a lot of issue, but somehow we came out of the same with the help of all the people. And maybe like the health sector people like supported us very much. Like this, we have to give a big hands to this medical sector also. So we need to do more improvements in the medical sector also. We have understood that things, right? So likewise, if you see, these are the major criteria, and minor criterias we can have some other things. And even entertainment sector, it's in like we can include in the minor sector, so which is required. Because as a human, even myself, you people, all the people around us, or who are in this session, maybe like you will spend some time for the entertainment. I hope at least you will play some games in mobile, or you will go for some movies, or anything. Maybe like you go for some trip. So likewise, so we have this entertainment sector also in our day-to-day life. Maybe at least weekend you spend some time, at least you will play some cricket or football, anything like, can be categorized into entertainment sector. Okay, so these are the major sectors. So the main thing which I want to tell is like, I hope without this we can't have a happier and enjoyable life, right? So to improve this sector, or to find out new things to happen in this sector, or maybe we can say to find a better solution. And obviously these sectors have some drawbacks, or else some things, improvements also required. So these sectors are supported by this AI and robotics things. So that's why this is become, what should I say, a hot topic of this current scenario. Or maybe we can say, this it's supporting this sectors like anything, and we are getting some good business also related to this sectors. Because all the things what we see, it's like a business. Like if you see, like any sector, if it's agriculture sector, ultimately the products have to reach the people. It is through business. So business also improving through this AI and robotics. So what we can see, it's like almost all the sector uses this AI and robotics. And maybe you will understand this more in the last day of the session. So that's why this is booming like anything, and different universities and colleges are framing syllabus. You know what is mean by syllabus? Maybe like you will learn the physics, and you will learn so many equations, this thermodynamics, so many, like in module 1 and 2. Likewise, the syllabus is framed, and finally courses are framed. So that's why a lot of new courses in this AI and robotics are framed. And even this AI, data science, big data analytics course, and this robotics, different types of courses are framed. So people are more into this also, because I hope in 2026, like we are going to have some huge openings in this AI and robotics sector, and especially in this AI sector. So that's why more people are going to join this different types of courses. So this is what, like, I just want to give you an intro. So if you see, so basically, if you start with the history of robotics, it was like first coined in 1920s in a play RUR. So obviously, what we learn, if you learn something new, so obviously we need to check the history also, right? We just want to know what are the developments happen. So let's start with the history of robotics. So it is some person have designed this with some criterias or the law, maybe the low 1, low 2, low 3, and you know what's happening, right? And maybe in film, like you have seen this robot, it's fighting with the human, and ultimately it is like what is happening, fight is happening, and ultimately sometimes human will win, sometimes this robot will win, right? So this is how like things are happening in this film, but it should not be happen in the real world, right? So they have kept some low 1, low 2, low 3. It's like based on that it have been designed. So obviously some criterias or rules have to maintain to create or to design this robot. So let's go to the basics and understand how we can design a simple robot. Okay, so the person, maybe like in your school, I hope you will have different types of science exhibitions, or some activities will happen, no? So you will make some small projects. So likewise, you can also try this project. So I hope everyone sitting here will have some pen and paper with you. So I just want to give you a small assignment. So the first assignment, it's like in the screen, you can see that like sense, think, and act. So these are the three concepts which the person who have kept in mind while designing the robot, or maybe we can tell these are the control loop of a robot. So the first thing is like sense, the second thing is like think, and third one is like doing some actions. I hope this as a human you can do, or else I can do, but we need to create a machine. Leave the robotics concept and all. Just we are going to create a machine which can able to do sense, think, and action. So for initially, I just want to okay, maybe like we can check with some examples. So let's start a simple robot which can able to pick some object and place somewhere. Maybe pick and place robot, or else maybe in your level, maybe you have seen cranes. No, I mean like a lot of cranes are there, and especially in this flat construction activities. So maybe like you have seen it will pick some heavier object and it will place somewhere in the top floor, like maybe it will have 30-40 floors, so it have the crane will be doing the same. So likewise we are going to create a pick and place robot which can able to do this three activities like sense, think, and act. So can you please list out the major hardware components required to design this simple pick and place robot? Okay, I don't want this minor things like wire, maybe pulley. I don't need that. I want major components required to design this pick and place robot. So I will give you 5 minutes time. Maybe you can think and maybe you can list. After that, I will give you chance to tell your answer, and maybe you can post your answers in the chat box. So I need, so I'm giving you 5 minutes time. So you can just think and tell what are the major components. Maybe like you can write in some paper or book. You can just list out the hardware components required to design this pick and place robot, and make sure you are keeping this 3 points in your mind: the sense, think, and action. Just see what are the hardware components required to design this three. Okay, so your time starts now. So I will give you 5 minutes time. You can just think and you can just post your answers in the chat box. Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of answers. It's like I will read you after 2 or 3 minutes. So maybe like I'm giving chance to all, because just make your brain to work and understand how these three things can be developed or can be designed in a machine and how it can be worked. Okay. So I think I will go with some one answer which is like Satyanarayan, which he have told initially. So I will go with the answer what he have told. He have told a sensor, robotics arm, CPU for loading program, power supply. Same like the others. Somebody have told hydraulic sensor, chip, AI camera for detection. So CPU to control the robot, sensor, coding for robo, sensor, coding. I especially people who are telling coding, I have already told you I need the hardware components or the major hardware components required to design this. Maybe coding we can't categorize into hardware components. Maybe some people are telling sensor, chip, motherboard. So if you see the components, where we can start. See, I suppose like I have given this question. So how you have thought this answer, or maybe like how you have concluded to different answers. Maybe you will think, right? What are the components required to do this? Sense, think, and action. So apart from this, whatever project you get for your school days, or maybe the college, or maybe the workplace, just start from the objective or from the output side, because our ultimate aim is to get the output or to predict the output, right? So for that output we need to check what is required, right? So what is our output here? Can anyone tell what is the output here? It have to pick and place, right? So first the object have to pick, right? For assume like I have kept the charger here, so it is like my hand is the machine. Okay, I'm not giving this machine as a name robot. Okay, for time being I'm making this as a machine, so this is going to pick some object. So what is first required? How this machine will understand whether object is there or not? So we have to keep some sensors over here. For example, I'm keeping some sensors in the my fingers, so it have to sense the object, right? So sensor is a first component which is required to sense the object. Without sensing, we can't, the machine can move, right? So what is next? After sensing the same, the machine or this frame have to move, right? So can I tell the second component as mechanical structure or frame? So the second component which I can tell is like the mechanical structure or frame. So next is like this mechanical structure or frame will have to move down to pick this object, right? So how this activity is done? Anyone? How this moving of this frame is done? Anyone? How this is done? Let me check your answers. So how this movement is done? Yeah, very good. So I can see that like some of you have telling that the manipulator, or maybe we can tell DC motors. So DC motors, maybe AC motors in some cases, which will create some movements, and ultimately maybe manipulators which create some movements. So movements ultimately created, it will pick the object and it will move to the final destination where it have to keep. So this is how like initial components required. So what is next? How this machine will understand it have to move somewhere, or it have to pick the object? So who will guide the entire activity? Or maybe who is I mean like what is a major component in human which is like working based on that you people will think, do actions? That's our brain, right? Same way here, it's also we need some brain. So we can tell controller. Okay, so different types of controller or brain which is required to do this activities. So next is like after controlling, we can control where it have to place and where it have to move. So how this process get energy? Somebody, how this process get energy? Anyone? How this process get energy? See how you will get energy. So we'll have food and we'll get energy, right? Same way we need to give some input. What input we have to give? We need to give some input power, some AC or DC power have to give to energize this process. So I hope this is the major components, or the maybe like few components which is required to design this, and maybe other accessories like wire, pulley, this hydraulic, so many things are required, but still these are the major components required to design, I hope. So if you go to the next thing, just a minute. Okay, so now we got some components. So initially we got some what should I say, the sensor which is going to sense the thing, and after that we have the mechanical frame or structure which is going to pick the object, and the movement is done with the help of DC motor or the manipulators, or maybe finally we'll have some controller to control the operation, and we'll have some input. So this is how like you have to frame or design a project. So after the next step of this is like you need to draw some block diagram, and in the screen you can see a simple block diagram of a robotics technology. So it's very simple. Okay, it's not any big robotics design or the block diagram I have listed here. It is like very simple. And in the screen, you can see an arrow mark initially as some task is given to robot model. The task is like some instruction. For example, I am giving a robot instruction that please pick some object, please pick this charger from my hand. So it is like ready to pick. But if it's ready to pick, but still this robot have to know, right, whether object is there or not. So that's why finally the output, from the output you can see a signal which is like sensor is sensing the signal of the output, and finally it is passing through the information processing unit, which will process the information, and finally it is given to the controller and input. And here you can see a cross and you can see a error. So this is a comparator and which will compare the input and output signal, because maybe human will tell pick the object, but output it is object is not there. It have to compare and it have to pass the signal to the controller, right? So ultimately controller will get the signal from the input as well as what is there happening in the output from the sensor, and this actuators and manipulators will create some movements. As we told, like we'll have some DC or AC motors. So finally this energy which is converted to movements with the help of manipulators, and finally our task is done. So this is how like a simple block diagram of robotics mechanism is designed. It is a basic simple model, okay? So maybe if you see the power supply which is like required, as we told, that is energy which is required to energize the process, and maybe we can use some batteries, solar power and other power sources also. And if you see the actuators, the energy conversion device which is used to create some movements. And the major component is the sensor. We have a lot of sensors available in the market, and maybe you can also try with some small projects. Okay, I hope you all are doing some projects for your project exhibition or science exhibition or something. Maybe you can also buy this 5 or 6 components from the market, which is like there are a lot of different types of sensors are available. And if you see the basic level of sensors, the temperature sensor, light sensor, image sensor to sense the image, and maybe touch sensor, mostly different types of application can be done designed with this help of touch sensor and motion sensor, level sensor, and tilt sensor. I have listed only few. We can have a big list also. So if you, based on your requirement of the project, you can decide what sensor is required. And now if you see the electric motor, so the next major components to run this, or else to create some movements which is done, or else we can tell electrical energy. See, you know what are this input to this motor, right? So electrical energy or the power supply which is given to the motor, and finally which is converted to mechanical energy. So ultimately it will create some what movements with the help of DC motors, or maybe in some cases AC motor also used. It's small DC motors like BLDC motor, stepper motor can be used to maybe if you have a small project you can try for that. Okay, so next is a major component which is going to control the entire operation of this robot. So if you see the controller, and there are a lot of different types of controllers are designed. Maybe these controllers are designed with resistor, capacitor, and maybe some memory unit. So it is like all the things which is available in the market, and you can see in the right hand side a green color chip. So in that, like different ports will be there. So major, your question is like how to select controller. The other things we can select, maybe DC supply or the sensors we can do. How to select the controller. So this controller, all the controller which is available in the market will have some data sheet, or in your language I can tell maybe it will have some brochure or outlet, or maybe not brochure or what should I say, maybe like the type, or else it will be listing the features of the controller. Maybe for example, if you take Arduino or DSP controller, it will say how much input it can give, and what are the different type of input can be given, and what are the different output we can access from the same. So from the data sheet, of the different features, we can understand how this controller will work and what are the different activities which we can do with the help of this controller. So ultimately, the output like which we are getting, it is controlled by the help of controller, right? So for example, if you have different motors, like one or two or three motors, which is going to run your project, and maybe you will have some sensors. So whatever it may be, this signal have to go to this controller, right? So which will have different type of ports, maybe input and output ports. Okay, so input ports which will receive this input signal, and output port it will pass the signal after processing the controller. So while discussion, I have seen a lot of the students have told about the programming or coding, right? So what is the use of this coding or programming in this controller? Can anyone tell? Can anyone tell what is the use of this programming or controller in this uh, project? Can anyone tell what is the use of this coding? Yeah, in the chat box, I have seen manual. Okay, maybe in your language, it will be easy. Maybe if you go to higher class, you can see that like data sheet. It's a manual which is designed with some different controllers. So you can read and understand what are the features of this controllers. So where I have stopped with what, so the controller. So in the design, so you can understand what are the different components. So, and the coding. Okay. So what is a major requirement of the coding in this controller? Can anyone tell how it is, what is the, why it is required? So somebody have told we should code it for work to do something, or some other Satyanarayan again, it's telling that execution of command. So obviously, if you are giving a lot of input and output, somebody have to take decision, right? So this decision making are done with the help of coding. So what is this command actually? Can anyone tell? It is like data, right? The input is also a data, and this output is also a data. So we are giving some data or input to the system, and the system is processing. See, for example, even we can also create some small project. Assume you will have going to run a program. So you are keeping some sensor in the door to count whether how many people have entered into the program or how many of you exited. So how you can't stand there and count, right? It will be very confusing. So we can do some small project which can able to sense the count of the people, so which are entering and exiting. Or maybe like in the ID card, like we have a swipe, right? So we need to swipe. So same thing, like it is like we can't count. So for that, we'll write algorithm. First start, and after that, what I mean, like detect, count one if one person is entering the room, and maybe count minus one if it's like leaving the room, and vice versa. The things will happen, and finally, it will stop. The program will stop once we switch off the operation. So ultimately, we can get the count how many of you entered and how many of you are exited, and we can see the time also, how many of you spend the time, how much time they have spent in the room. So it is like easily we can write a program, and we can able to understand this, and we can take this data out. So ultimately, data, it's an important thing in all the sectors, like what we have discussed, or in the controller also. We need to process this data. For processing this data, we are writing some simple algorithm, and fine, after writing algorithm, we'll convert the algorithm into some code. So the code, or the coding which can be done in different programming languages. For example, Python. Maybe you all will be learning Python in your 11th and 12th. The CBSE have already started this, and initially it was like C, C++. Now people are learning Python because Python is used in most of the applications, and even the Scala, Java, C, C++, and so many programming languages are there. So I it's my suggestion, maybe like you can try or learn one program, maybe at, if you are free, or if whenever you feel like you want to know, because for example, we are in digital era, and if you search something in the Google, what's happening there. Actually, anyone can tell. For example, if you have searched Arduino controller in the Google, so ultimately what's happening in the Google, how this Google is working, it's completely based on the prediction program. So prediction program works there, and ultimately it will predict the output. So this is how like prediction coding will works, and ultimately it will predict Arduino board, Arduino controller, Arduino board, Arduino controller feature, and so many prediction will happen. This is like taking your alphabet and taking your word and predicting the things. And after that, it goes to this the page, and again there this coding is happening, and because of that, this creation of this digital things are done, and even different types of applications, even from food to travel, everything. And even you want to buy something, everything, it's like we are depending on different applications like Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, Ola, and even this Amazon, Flipkart. Everywhere, like people are designing this smart application, and this is designed with the help of coding. So maybe if you are not interested into this, what should I say, you want to go for your higher studies in maybe medical sector or whatever it may be also, you should know at least some basics of some coding language, because it will be useful in some part of your career also. So likewise, controller is the do the activities based on the coding which we have fetched, and programming which we can do, and after that we can insert the program into this controller. And that process which we will tell, it's like burning process, the burning of program, it's done. Ultimately we will check whether we are getting the output. We'll try with some simulations, or some in software will do this actions, and if it's perfect, well, working well, means we'll switch this to this, will transfer this program to the hardware system. So that is the burning process is done, and finally program is ready. So ultimately this controller is ready to work now. So this is how you need to select a controller, and you need to read the data sheet. Maybe I can show you the data sheet example after the session. Okay, maybe like I will try for the same if time is there. So this is how controller is designed. And if you see the controllers, like maybe I can list out what are the different controllers. Like if you start from Arduino, it's a basic controller. It is like easy to work also. So you can try with Arduino controller initially, and maybe after that you can go to some DSPIC or Raspberry Pi, or maybe the other controllers like FPGA, field programmable gate array controller. So likewise, we have different types of controllers which is available in market, and maybe you can try for that. And my suggestion is like just start with some basic controllers. So maybe you can also code, or the code everything, the coding or this language or the program which is available in online itself, you can try with that. And initially you can see how this programming mechanism is working. So likewise you can understand and you can learn the same. And if you see the application of robotics, as we discussed initially, it is starting from different types of industry, or the manufacturing sector uses this robot, and even health sector uses this, and even space, military, agriculture. And I have listed only few. It is like we can't predict like how much application like which is this robot are supportive. So let me play a video so that you can understand what are the different types of robot which is like used in different sectors. Okay, so give me some time. So I'm just playing some videos.
Hello, Nikhil. Nikhil, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I just opening my videos. Just a second.
Oh, fine, fine.
So I'm sharing a video so that you can see and understand what are the different type of, like robots.
Of the future and which is worth keeping an eye on in 2021. Get ready for the most interesting things from the world of high tech in today's One Issue. The first discoveries of this year are Samsung's home robots. The smart and dexterous bot Handy can determine what material an object is made of in order to calculate the force required to maneuver it. The robot can pick up laundry, load the dishwasher, set your table, pour wine, and even bring your drinks. Cameras on the robot's head and limbs are responsible for object recognition. For maneuvering and manipulation, only the robotic arm, which can rotate at 3 points, specifically in the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. The arm ends with a universal grip that works with objects of different sizes and shapes. The robot can move around the room on a platform, turn from side to side, and rise to reach higher objects. And for everyday cleaning, Samsung introduced the JetBot 90 AI Plus robot. It's a vacuum cleaner that uses LiDAR and 3D sensors to clean close to furniture and children's toys. The JetBot's internal camera can be used to monitor pets as well. A recent reality has been a Moli Robotics futuristic robot kitchen project. Not as futuristic as the concept, the robotic kitchen is already quite functional. The system is sold together with furniture and utensils as everything is adapted for optimal robotics work based on proven industrial manipulators. The specially designed gripper can not only use spatulas and ladles, but also, for example, crack eggs, use a blender, or turn on the water. The robot takes ingredients from human-prepared containers. But beyond that, the entire cooking process is fully automated. The robot was trained with the help of a camera recording the cooking process and its verbal description. Breaking down the recipe into simple steps such as stir, flip, salt makes it fairly easy to teach the robot new dishes. The Toyota Research Institute showed its version of home robots not so long ago. The company's engineers are trying to solve two problems: teaching robots to perform everyday tasks around the house, and to overcome the limitations imposed by the unpredictable environment of each individual home. The latter task is partly solved by Toyota's new robot hanging from the ceiling, but it's also unlikely to be implemented in the existing modest-sized Japanese dwellings. Rather, these are developments for future homes and apartments. Toyota is not saying much about the technology behind this robot, but it recently showed off its new lab, which was created to test this very robot. The Chinese Institute of Engineering made of composite material, which makes the robot lightweight yet durable. This year, Agility Robotics has seriously upgraded its humanoid robot courier Digit, making it completely self-sufficient. All you need to do now is tell the robot the route or the endpoint and it will go where it needs to go, bypassing obstacles along the way. Digit is the world's first robot, uses LiDAR and multiple cameras mounted on its torso to scan its surroundings and quickly detect obstacles. Now, from humanoid robots, let's move on to our four-legged friend robots. A new and rather unusual robot dog was introduced this year by Tencent. The robot dog Max uses the original leg and wheel connection scheme from Tencent Robotics X Lab, which allows him to both walk on four legs and ride on wheels at 25 km per hour. Tencent's software and hardware platform allows the robot to reach its surroundings and control its own balance, as well as plan actions with calculation delays of only 0.3 milliseconds. This robot can also stand up after falling down. Another novelty found was Chinese copy of the Boston Dynamics robot dog. The Weilane company introduced Alpha Dog Robot, which is able to move at speeds of up to 1 km per hour, move with 10 different gaits, and carry a load of up to 5 kilograms. The robot is also able to $100. Boston Dynamics itself this year also introduced a couple of new products, specifically a brand new robot for warehouses named Stretch, and an updated version of the robot Spot with an incredibly nimble and smart robotic arm. We talked more about them in an issue about the company's robots, which you can find the link in the video description. An unusual four-legged novelty of the year was Hyundai's Tiger X1 robotic courier for hard-to-reach and remote locations. The robot is dropped off in the night area by drone and then rides on wheels and rises on its feet to step over obstacles if necessary. The top of the robot can easily be replaced with a refrigerator or regular box. The robot has only a prototype so far, but it seems that Hyundai is serious about this technology development and plans to bring to the market a commercial version.
Hey, I have a question for you. If I were to present you my
So this is how different types of robots have been designed, and maybe if you search more, you can find a lot of applications, like a lot of application or the industry like which this robots have been used. So let me share my screen again. So if you see that, like, I hope you have seen few applications, and maybe more are the, so due to time permit, like I can't show everything, like all applications, like even if you gardening, all the purpose, like even different industry, and you can see the delivery of the products are going to be, and even drone delivery, which is going to be the highlight. And recently, like if news has also came regarding that. So that is the future of this robotics in different sectors. And maybe if you see, and now this is like an humanoid robot which was like created by human, and which got the citizenship from the Saudi Arabia also. So my next question is like, what is the requirement of this AI? So now you have, at least you understood the basic of this, I mean, like robotics technology. And even let me go to this robotics technology itself, and you have seen this block diagram now. So assume in the output side I have kept approximately some 10-20 products. So what will be the decision of this robot to pick some object? If I'm telling, for example, if I have kept some grocery items, okay, salt, I mean, like pepper, sugar, or something, okay, like that, I have kept some 10 items. So I'm telling this robot to pick 1 kg rice or 1 kg sugar. So how this robot will understand that is like sugar, or I mean, like rice? Can anyone tell? You can add your answers in the chat box. So how it will predict whether it is like rice or sugar, like how it will be able to understand? Can anyone tell? See, I'm not getting any answers. So I will repeat my question again. So I hope my screen are visible to you. So I just want to ask you, if suppose I'm keeping some grocery items in the output. So as if now, like we have prepared the pick and place robot. So I'm asking the robot to pick. So as we discussed, like it is picking some object and placing somewhere. As we discussed with this charger. So I'm going to keep one more component, something I will take. Okay, I will take my mobile. So again, I have two components here, the charger and my mobile. So I'm telling this robot to pick an object, okay? Pick an object. So which object it will pick? If suppose I'm giving the instruction to the robot, pick mobile phone or pick charger, how this will understand, how this machine or the robot will understand to pick this? Can anyone tell? Anybody? Can just add your answers in the chat box. I have seen answers from the first I will read by recognizing. That is the first answer which is got from Neeraj. And by programming, by natural programming language, NPL, and shape, size, color, and physical structure. And the other thing is like which I'm getting sensors. But how? Sensors, like we can't sense the product, right? So that is the answer which I have got. And ultimately, few of them told that like AI, it's required, and few of them it's telling size, shape, color, physical structure, so many. So ultimately, we need some technology to understand this is the object, right? So likewise, like see, just think about ourselves, how we will understand. See, at what age you understood different types of products, and maybe after your childbirth, maybe after sometime 6 months or maybe 1 year, maybe you will at least you will know some few components like two or three, maybe your doll or maybe your what should I say, something, maybe your back, something you will understand during that time, right? After 1 year. So likewise, and maybe if you go to schooling, maybe if you go to schooling, maybe you will understand, you will start from A for apple and B for battle. So likewise, you will learn so many components, right? So the same thing, we need to teach the machine, and we need to make the machine to understand what is meant by this product and what is the use of this product. So we are going moving to that technology, or maybe in short, we can tell that is like AI or artificial intelligence, which is supporting this feature, or in short, we can tell we are going to create a machine that can able to mimic the human behavior, or which will do the actions, or which will do the things like how a human can perform all the activities. See, it's like picking the object, or else picking the particular object, how we have given instruction. So the machine is ready. So next, maybe and tomorrow we can discuss about this like AI and how it have been done. So ultimately, I just want to give you a small assignment, and maybe you can just think and you can tell the answer tomorrow. So this AI, it's a concept. It was like already. It's not a new concept, right? It's this artificial intelligence, and maybe you can check in which year it was first coined. Okay, maybe you can check in which year it was like the term was came, and maybe you can check who have like found this term. So that is the second assignment. So first question is like you can check the year and the person who have found this, and maybe the secondary. My question is like why it is not developed when it was like found. It is obviously it was found before years, so you can just check the year. Okay, so my biggest question to this, or else the my like I just want to know the answer from you, why it was not developed or it was not used when it was found years back. Okay, you can just check and you can just think why it was not done. And maybe now if you see a lot of applications are created, and maybe initially I have told it's going to open a big market, I mean like business market as well as job career market also. So you can just think about this answer, and maybe tomorrow we can discuss more about this AI. So it's like Q&A time. So if you have any queries, you can just add your queries in the chat box. So I will be waiting to clear the same. Yeah. So I have seen a lot of things training robot, and like so many things I have seen. The answer for this question, like how to pick the object or how to do this activities, like which is like AI. So now my next question is like maybe tomorrow you can do some small research work, not research work, maybe you can search and find out like how, why it was not developed or it was not boomed when it was first coined. Okay, maybe you can check when it was first coined also. Yeah, I have seen the answer also in the chat box. So maybe we can discuss tomorrow. I don't want to tell the answer because let others also try. But I didn't got the answer why it was not developed. Okay, I got answer who have found this and maybe the year also I have seen. So cool. I got a question like, how can we contribute to our nation by AI? So obviously it is going to happen and so many researches are happening and it is like used in different applications. So likewise, it is supporting each business sector. So each business sector, for example, the health sector, and maybe in the next session we can discuss more in the health sector also supported, and even robotic surgeries are happening. And this robotic surgeries are supported with the help of AI and will get more accurate or clarity. Medical things also happen in the health sector too. So likewise, almost all the sector are gaining things from this. So I hope can wind up because I'm getting that lot of answers. It's like very good to see that this answers. So please try that assignment and maybe you can share your answer. The main question like which I just want to share, I will share you again. It's like why this is like not developed when it was first coined. So I have got the answer. So I will try the answer also. It is like 1956, 1950 to 80, somewhat like approximately the John McCarthy was the person who have found this. And it was like first coined in the year 1956. So, and you can see in during that time it was like first coin, but still that was like question mark why it is not developed during that time, or maybe it was like long years past, so why it was not developed. So that is the assignment like which I want to share you today, so you can just check that and you can come back to me. So I can see a lot of answers. Maybe you can post this answer tomorrow and maybe we can discuss the same tomorrow. Okay, let's others also try because few people are still thinking and maybe you can also think. Okay, so I hope we can wind up and thank you. And if you have any queries, you can add in the chat box or you can